Coming up here on Vikings Now, Justin Jefferson. We're going to talk about Madden's BS rankings because I'm sorry, they disrespected the young wide receiver. Unsigned Vikings free agents. Somebody asked me the other day, hey Mitch, who are some of the top unsigned players that the Vikings had last season? Because we still have some money. Could they potentially go out and make a move before training camp starts? And then, at the end of today's video, more rumors around top NFL free agents, interior lineman JC Tretter. Could he end up signing with Minnesota? If he does sign with Minnesota, we're going to make a video about it. If you love the Minnesota Vikings, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. We're getting closer and closer to 5,000 subs. It's a pretty impressive accomplishment. And if you're trying to stay up to date on all the news and rumors going on around training camp, preseason, regular season, we're your one-stop shop. Hit that sub button. All right, let's talk about Justin Jefferson because one of my things that I love about my job here at Chat Sports is you can talk about topics, you can talk about rumors, but I love talking about trending topics. And one of the top trending topics right now going on around is Madden 23. It released its wide receiver ratings, and Justin Jefferson wasn't in the top 5 of the list. I get it. Young receiver. He had an incredible rookie, incredible sophomore, entering his 3rd year. And a lot of times, I don't play video games anymore, but I also know that sometimes these video games show a lot more love to some of these older players instead of projecting of where a guy can go. If you're a second-year receiver and you have 108 grabs, over 1,600 yards and 10 touchdowns, and you've had the ability to show your final year in LSU, you got better. Your first year in the NFL, you got better. Your second year, you took even more of a leap. I think it is foolish to not put Jefferson a little bit higher on the list. Now, luckily for y'all, I have the top 10 wide receivers here on Madden. And, I say BS, but Jefferson to me ranked number 6, a 93 overall rating. I don't really mind the 93 overall as much. I just don't know if he's the 6th best receiver in the NFL. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and rip on Adams, Kupp, Tyreek Hill. I'm a big fan of DeAndre Hopkins, but he had a lot of injury issues, and, well, he's suspended. Stefon Diggs is an incredible player, but I'm sorry, I'm taking Justin Jefferson over Stefon Diggs. And then when you really look at some of these other players, is Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, are they that close to Jefferson? I don't think they are. I mean, considering the fact that in 2 seasons, 196 grabs, over 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, and I know there's a lot of y'all out there that really, truly love Kirk Cousins, and he's a good quarterback. If I were to rank my top, 32 QBs, Cousins would probably be number 14, but is he really that good, or is Jefferson that special? Because since Jefferson's come in the league, Kirk Cousins has looked like a totally different quarterback, no doubt about it. So what do y'all think here? You know what? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So what the heck does that mean? It means you're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. While that ad is playing, scroll on down. The very, very first comment on this video, type Y for yes, type N for no. Is Justin Jefferson a top 5 wide receiver? You can have your opinion. I'm going to have my opinion, but I believe my opinion's right on this one. Jefferson is a top 5 wide receiver. You might even be able to make the argument as a top 5 receiver before this year. I have watched receivers for a long, long time. When they get ready to hit that year 3, it's known as the breakout year for a reason. Rookie year, you try to make the adjustment. Sophomore year, you try to learn the playbook. You try to learn a little extra things that you might have missed as a rookie. 3rd year, you take it and you go with it. Well, guess what? Justin Jefferson is going to be taking it, and he's going to be going with it this year. Out of context, it does sound a little bit weird, but I'm telling you right now, Justin Jefferson is going to be showing a lot of people those TDs. Now, coming up here, we're going to be looking at some Vikings unsigned free agents because there are still 9 players that played with Minnesota last season that are still out there, and I'm curious if you guys believe whether or not the Vikings should go out and try to sign those guys. I'm going to tell you who they are and which 2 players I still have my eyes on. But before I do, we have this awesome sale continuing going here at chatsports.com/Vikings combo. You can get both of these t-shirts right here at $29.99. The link is available for you all in the comments and in the description of today's video. Let's look at some of these unsigned Vikings free agents. Now, you got Anthony Barr, Sheldon Richardson, Everson Griffin, D.D. Westbrook, and according to reports, The only player that I see even getting connections at this point is D.D. Westbrook, who I like him as a player, has definitely battled some injury issues since he's come out of Oklahoma. But the fact that he's the only one, I'm like, hey, pick up the phone, make a call. Rashad Hill was another player, the offensive tackle. Mackenzie Alexander, Luke Stalker, Wayne Gallman, and then Chris Herndon. I was hoping Chris Herndon would be a little bit more productive for the Vikings. It just never materialized. He had like one good year with the New York Jets, and then after that, it just simply did not work. So after seeing some of those unsigned Vikings free agents, what player? If you could pick one, if you want to pick two, if there's three, there's four, hey, you got about $10.9 million in salary cap space as it stands right now. So out of those players, if you had to, which one would you sign? There's two guys on my list here, and they're both on the defensive side of the football because I love Kevin O'Connell's system, and I think this Vikings offense is really going to be one of the better offenses in the league. The defense, on the other hand, does scare me if I'm being honest with y'all, but you can add an Anthony Barr, you can add a Sheldon Richardson. The only reason why Barr's not on the team is because originally his contract was a little bit too high. But if you can bring him back, he offers you a lot of ability to tackle, coverage, get after the QB. 72 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 3 interceptions. He's been a leader on this defense for the past, 9 seasons it feels like. And then another guy, Sheldon Richardson. You've seen a lot of reports out there around Ndamukong Suh. He's being linked to Minnesota. He's been linked to the Las Vegas Raiders. Why? Both of those teams, their interior defensive line is bad. I would probably put Minnesota's DTs probably in the bottom 5 of the NFL. You can add Sheldon Richardson. Yes, he's getting up there in age. Yes, he's really just a run stopper, but he was good last season. So go out and get Snacks. Or not Snacks, that's somebody else. Sheldon Richardson, he's the other Richardson. Snacks Harrison is the guy I was thinking of. But anyway, you need to go get Sheldon Richardson. He's a good player. All right, let's talk about the next story here. It's JC Tretter, and he's been linked to Minnesota. And a recent article from Bleacher Report titled, "The Most Underrated NFL Free Agent Still Available Ahead of Training Camps." JC Tretter was out there, and according to them, they believe the two best fits for him are the San Francisco 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings. Tretter is the top center available. If you believe that the Vikings need a center, and you can convince Tretter, because I'm starting to believe that Tretter is a coin flip in terms of, do I continue to play in the NFL or do I retire? And he's had some stories out there. There's been some reports around him. I don't necessarily know what he's going to do, but I just have a hard time believing a player who had a PFF grade last season at 78.7, still probably a top 10 center in the NFL. I don't understand how you can hang up the cleats. Like, I get the fact that you're older, you're beat up, but if millions of dollars are on the line, I have a hard time believing that somebody's going to give that up. So Bleacher Report had this to say on JC Tretter. Tretter missed one game in 2021 on the reserve COVID-19 list. He didn't miss any other games with the Browns and played 100% of the offensive snaps when active during that span. In those 80 games with Cleveland, Tretter surrendered only 6 sacks, according to PFF. Now, this is what Bleacher Report had to say on Tretter potentially joining the Vikings. The Vikings would be a logical fit for Tretter. General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, formerly Cleveland's VP of football operations, knows what sort of stability Tretter can bring to an offensive interior. Projected starter Garrett Bradbury, meanwhile, has been responsible for 7 sacks allowed and 12 penalties over the past 2 seasons, according to PFF. Now, again, no disrespect to Bradbury. I believe he is a bottom-level center in the NFL, and if you can add JC to your interior, it's going to help your new guys like Jesse Davis. It's going to help Cleveland. Hell, it's probably going to help your guys on the outside as well. Christian Darrisaw entering year 2, Brian O'Neill on the right side. I like your tackles, but your interior scares the hell out of me. So add Tretter, who in 1,039 snaps last season gave up 1 sack, 1 hit, 8 hurries, and had a run grade of 74.8, which I like for this team because, yes, O'Connell's going to chuck the ball, but you still have to be able to establish a running game when you have running backs like Dalvin Cook, Madison. You need to still be physical in this division. So be honest with me, y'all. What are the chances Tretter plays for the Vikings? And I want a percentage. 0%, 100%, 25%. I'm going to be looking for percentages in the comments for 2 reasons. 1, I'm curious. 2, it means you made it to the very end of today's video.